Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Flying Olive. Today I'm going to be talking about ginger snap biscuits. The first things first, equipment wise, what I think is really important is a food processor. You can make these biscuits by hand, but it does take a lot longer, it's a lot more effort, and it's just way easier basically. If you haven't got one, it's just going to take you more time. All you need is a general cutting tool, and you don't need a massive basin on it either. Mine holds just over 2 litres and it's perfect. So for all of the ingredients in this recipe, you can get them all in a baking aisle, really easy, and go to the Flying Olive or look in the description for all of them. So start off by breaking up some shortbread into your food processor. You can of course make your own, but I've cheated a little bit and bought some. Then add the demerara sugar. I'm really bad with measuring cups, so I always use my hands, but I would recommend measuring it all out. The measurements are in the description below along with the ingredients. Then add about 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and mix it all up. This is just your initial mixture. I always save a bit of this, about 3/4 of a cupful for the end to make a topping. You don't have to do this, but I'll show you how to do it later. Then add another couple of teaspoons of cinnamon, a nice glug of vanilla essence, a couple small pinches of baking powder, 40 grams of mixed peel, and the same of crystallized ginger. You can use a little more or less here, it just depends how gingery you want your ginger snap biscuits. Then add another couple of teaspoons of ground ginger and the plain flour. Then mix it all together. This should literally only take a minute. Then into a pan on the hob, have some melted butter and 2 tablespoons of black treacle. Then add to this the same amount of golden syrup and melt it all together until it makes a nice liquid. Should be quite thin and just easy to stir. Once it's all melted together, add the crumbs from your food processor. And then you mix it all together. You should be looking for a consistency a little bit like wet sand, you know, the really good stuff that you make moats out of on the beach. Yeah, you should be looking for about that consistency. Once it looks a little bit like this, dark and sticky, put it onto a lightly buttered baking tray or some greaseproof paper. With the back of a metal spoon, you're going to want to try and flatten this out. It will be sticky, so you're going to have a bit of patience with it because it can get quite frustrating, especially on a greased tray. Then with a plastic sort of bendy spatula, try and sort of even it all out and condense it as much as you can. The more dense it is, the harder it will be later. Then pop it into an oven at about 170 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep your eye on it to make sure it's not burning. Once it's done, it should smell amazing for a start, but it should be kind of cakey. If you can try and keep it warm for as long as possible, that would be great, because you need to both cut it and add the topping whilst the biscuit's still warm. It should be really easy to cut with the end of the spatula whilst it's warm. Then add the topping, and much like you did earlier, kind of get a spatula, spread all the topping out and press it into the biscuit, and that way it will just stay on and be lovely. Once it's cooled down, you should be able to just snap it apart. It should be really brittle and hard and sweet and delicious, and if you store it properly, it should last for about a week or even more, but try to avoid keeping it in the fridge. A nice open airy windowsill would be fantastic, as long as you keep it covered. Thanks for watching guys, subscribe, follow me on social media, and I'll see you soon.